Welcome back to Tmeztv. We are down here at the AME electrical shop, but first, they just got back from Florida, so we're going to take some laps in the sprint car. Let's go.
Thank you very much. First three drivers on track will make their way around to start the clock. We'll find Mitchell Moles at a race in City, California. The AME Electrical, the Valley Transportation, Kaiser, the 19AZ. His teammate, Hayden Reinbold, in Gilbert, Arizona. The AME Electrical, Levante Windows and Doors, Indy Race Parts of 19. Hayden Reinbold coming around in his opening lap. He is quickest right now, a 16.796. Unseating Mitchell Moles at a 16.938, 18.591 for Troy Carey. Moles comes around, retakes it, 16.594. Hayden Reinbold quicker on lap number 2.
Got your sweet tea.
Oh yeah, gotta have unsweet.
Taking that beautiful carbon fiber and making it white. Too bad they don't make white carbon fiber weave or something, you know? Like, although I do love to see the old circle back.
Circle back with the white.
With the white. Yeah, I feel like you were black for a while, huh?
We were black forever. We used to hand paint it. Brandon back home hand painted the first one. He hand painted that son of a bitch.
Nice.
Yeah, it was great.
Something a little different here on Tmeztv today. We got Andy Reinbold here. I've actually driven for Andy, picked up a USAC win, and what got you involved in racing?
Entire life we were going to Manzanita Speedway with my dad. He raced some Formula V like road stuff, had a mini sprint, micro I guess you call them now. You know, hung out with some guys in the pits, helped some people, you know, monetarily wise. And just going to Manzanita Speedway with him as a kid, and then I got into high school and in college, a little bit of college, and kind of lost all that stuff, went away from it, and then Tammy, Mrs. Reinbold, we probably went to every club and bar in the state of Arizona and got burned out on that stuff, and ended up at Manzanita Speedway, met Chuck D, Charles Davis Jr., Jeremy Sherman, Fred Bryan. Those was like our group, right, our gang. You know, the race team or the drinking team that races type thing. Yeah.
And so you drove yourself?
Yep. I drove for, I don't know, I think 2004, 2002, around there, until race, you know, when you ran for me in 2017, Brady Short, raced with him as a car owner and a driver, Hunter Schoenberg, RJ Johnson, Stevie Sussex, kind of the local guys, and then you know, we got you in the car in 2017. We won the Western World the first night out there, and it was our first USAC national win, and that was kind of like that was the bug, right? It was like, man, we can win at a really high level here if we put somebody who can drive a sharp stick up a goat's ass rather than me.
Yeah. Well, and so then, you know, you guys are based out of Arizona, but now have a beautiful shop here in Brownsburg. You know, like how do you end up, you know, back here?
The version that I have of it, right, was I had Brady Short running the Western World and Oval Nationals for me. I want to say like 15, around that 15 time, maybe 16, 2016, and we were competitive. We were really good, and then what happened was in between that, right, because that's all in Arizona, the Western World, then you go over to the Oval Nationals. Something happened with his family. He had to bail out. I cold called Hunter Schoenberg because I hate freaking ovals. I hate Paris. I hate that racetrack. It's the arch nemesis, right?
Me too.
I hate that place. I mean, it puts on the best race in the world. It was the crown jewel and all that stuff. And like really good race car drivers can adapt to anything. I just freaking hated that place. Anyways, so I cold called Hunter Schoenberg. He flew out. He stayed with USAC. Came in the trailer, jumped in the thing. I think we qualified like 7th with a -12 engine, and I was like, man, we were doing good. Like the talents, I think, are somewhere besides driving. Car owner, crew chief, mechanic, whatever you want to call it, might be my calling. And then we got you out there in 2017, won the Western World, which was our first, Reinbold Underwood Motorsports' first USAC national sprint car win. And I never told you this, but we probably would have won the second night. But when we were celebrating, I stepped over the freaking left front of the car, and I bent the freaking brake line on that thing because it used to be hard lines to. It had a little bit of a weep, and I was hung over, and I didn't want to freaking work on it. And I don't know if you recall, but he lost brakes with about 5 to go in the rubber, and Chase Stockton won. So certain things I really remember, and that's one I really remember.
That's funny because I remember.
I think that was 10 grand down the drain.
Well, and I remember being there and like feeling, not, you know, just kind of like it was Hunter's deal, and it was like I was lucky enough to be running there, and
Right.
I was kind of doing my own thing. And they were nice enough to let me, you know, so I slung the bars I thought we needed in it,
Yeah,
and we
right.
ended up picking up a win. I actually, at Paris, a year later, turned the car over and was one of the scariest wrecks I've been involved with. It wasn't a scary wreck. I'm working, I think, JR, and I go in high, and I'm in a diamond below him, and the thing bites, and I drive it straight in the fence, and it cages. You know, it basically turns over and bounces the cage off the fence. My helmet had a chunk missing out right here from the cage broken, and that was a close one. After that, I was like, you know what? I don't like Paris anymore. I'm not here. You know, like I love racing cars, but I don't really want to get killed in a race car.
Right.
And it was the second or third time that had happened to me. I did it in Dennis Giles' car. I did it in the '77 Michael's car.
Right.
And it's just one of those tough places if you're not on the gas. But all right, so you move back here, and maybe let's switch it up. You guys won one of the biggest races, if not the biggest race of the year, the Chili Bowl.
Yep.
What was that, in 19 or 20?
21 or 22, I don't know. But yeah, that was amazing with Tanner. That was I'll never forget. Just like it was just like you were in this fog, right? We're down there in the infield.
Fumes or fog?
Fog, like my brain was in a yeah, all of the above. My brain was just in this fog, and I'm just like Chris Wheeler's like just got my elbow, and he's like, yeah, like the celebration's over, dude. We need to go back to the pits. I had lost my Apple Watch, came up in the celebration, so we're trying to find that. Everybody's like, what are we doing? Anyways, so I walked back, and I was walking back. I went to KKM's pit. I had Buddy Kofoid. I'm like, hey, buddy. And I think he thought I was mad at him, and I'm like, hey, I just want to thank you, because he got Tanner up on the horse, right? Like we were starting to slide back there a little bit, and he was showing him a nose, and some stuff was going on, and all of a sudden you could see Tanner just light that thing off and go win that race. But yeah, and then just, you know, straight to the pits, and I think we drank till 6 o'clock in the morning. People kept drinking moonshine and whatever. That was a rough one.
Who was it that was standing on the car that fell off onto the table?
That was AJ. AJ. He jumped off he was gonna jump off the mule on the trailer, and Tammy's like, no. She's like, if you're gonna do that, you got to go off the car, right? So we got to be safe about this.
Do we have video of that?
There is. Jocelyn has video.
That's a good time. These guys like to party at the end of the night. You know, we started the whole thing off with, you know, they were drinking buddies, and honestly, when I drove for you, that was one of the toughest parts for me. I'm not a big drinker, and I like to hang out with the fans, and I like to hang out, but you guys are typically the last trailer to leave the pit area. What makes that your routine?
We were, right? It used to, and that's kind of the part that sucks, right? Is we win races with you. We come out to, you know, 18. We started just like kind of building the brand, you know, bringing Justin Grant in and Logan Seavey and all those guys and Jason McDougal, and you know, and just cherry picking, right? But we're building a brand, right? Yeah. And then we were going out and we were doing the midget week. We go to midget week and do the sprint car portion so we can see the tracks. Yep. Got our first Indiana win at Bloomington during that deal with Brady Short. Yep. And then it was like, all right, let's go to SmackDown. Let's go to Sprint Week. You know, just started tippy-toeing into the deal. And then I was supposed to go full-time in 2019 with Justin Grant. And I don't know what happened, but he called me and said it's not happening. I mean, everything, we had the car, we had the design, the NOS, all that stuff. And I was just like, man, I guess this isn't going to happen. And then CJ cold called me, and we put a deal together, which led into just winning. You know, we only won 2 races. We ran second, I don't know, 15 times or something like that. But all the little mini series, Sprint Week, SmackDown, you know, all the points, things you could win the championship. And once, I had the bug, But once that hit, it was like, oh, we're going to do this, and we're doing this at a very high level, right? Yeah. And then it was, we brought CV, Logan, into the car the next year. That went for about a year and a half, brought Tanner in. And it's like as we went, we were working in Avon at my house with a real small little 1,200 square foot shop. COVID happened. We had 3 midgets in there, 2 wing cars, 3 non-wing cars. And I told the guys I would move my truck out of the one base. They'd have more space, but there was no way that was going to happen, not with the snow and everything out here. So they were just jammed in there. Now, we had a lot of fun with Rizzy and Connor and all those guys I mentioned.
A lot of good guys, like
great guys.
It's like when you own a team, how much of the success is the crew chief, the driver, and the attitude of the team?
I think it's just like my rule is like a 60-40. Like I think the driver needs to be out 60% of the work, and the crew needs to do the other 40. The car's never going to be perfect. I mean, sometimes it's horrible. Sometimes it's better than most, and it's like you should have won that race. What were you doing? But the culture is huge. The vibe's important. Everything about it. I mean, I've gone through. I probably look like that guy who just fires somebody every year, or a crew guy's gone every year. But it's really, and I feel like now we're in a really good place. The best place we've ever been. Hayden's on board. He's been on board for a couple of years, but he's starting to really figure it out. Yep. We're going non-wing racing with him this year. Mitchell's a great kid. He brings no baggage. His family's awesome. Yep. The baggage is important, drivers. Remember that. Yep.
And baggage could be your girlfriend, like baggage could be you focusing on the wrong thing. Yep. And it's that simple. But you said something about Hayden, and so you've had all these really good drivers, and like when I drove it, Hayden wasn't even around,
No.
Jocelyn was hanging out, I remember telling Jocelyn, don't date race car drivers.
Yeah, don't.
And she listened to me for years. Actually, I don't think she ever did date a race car driver.
I don't think she did that I'm aware of, but you never know. I'm dad, so they don't tell me.
Yeah. So now, what? So now you got your son involved, and he picked up a midget win, last year?
Yeah, I got an extreme win, a couple extreme wins, and some local races.
Gaining speed. The video clip we showed in the beginning of it, that was Hayden running. We call him HR, so I have a hard time calling him Hayden. HR, yeah. And so it's he's always been, unfortunately, he's always been kind of like the redheaded stepchild, right? Like we would just go in like Connor or Rizzy or Jacob, just go run 90 midget races. Just go find 90 midget races. Power eye, we don't care. Just go find 90, just because he started so late into the deal. It was 2020, COVID's here, and we just showed up to a USAC race because we were supposed to go West Coast racing, and then all of a sudden, boom, there's nothing to go. So we went to Port City. It was the first qualifier out. And I said, at least you'll be quick time for one lap. That's awesome, dude. God bless you. He had no experience, so he was just going to get the seat time right now, and now we went to Florida, and we did 7 USAC races. We wanted to try to get a Rookie of the Year with him this year with the national deal. So we didn't want to get past that. So we limited ourselves. So I think he did 11 non-wing races last year. And going to Florida, I'll be honest with you, I love HR, I love him, but I did not. I thought, how many freaking provisionals am I going to have to use? It's Florida, it's Volusia, it's Ocala. It's the most challenging places that we go to, right? And he exceeded our expectations. We had some bad luck. He was, qualifying in the top 10, running around that mid-pack deal, learning lessons with him about getting gas, working out, hitting the gym, how you sit in the car. His left arm was going numb at times. So we had a lot of challenges where we had I bet you it was from the seat.
Oh, yeah.
I bet you the seat, because I'm short. I have to deal with that. And for years, I didn't have any money, and so I bought used stuff. So the seats never fit me.
Yeah.
And I feel like I damage nerves if I'm laying with my girlfriend and I lay my arm across her, where this is on her, my hand goes numb.
Right.
From just beating up, my arm in the seat, because these things are pretty violent in the car,
Oh, yeah.
They are very violent. And speaking of which, so now you got your son there. Yesterday you were telling me about, talking to Mitchell, like, hey, you're going to have to run it through the hole, and you telling your kid, like, you might not want to run through the hole,
Right. Well, okay, crew chief. So I'm crew chief for the Crown car, the non-wing cars. Jacob does the midgets. So I'm setting up this race car for my son, and we know tight is right? We know we know how dangerous it is. We know what happened at Lawrenceburg a couple years ago. Yeah. And then, you know, you got to run through that hole to be fast into one. And I told Hayden, I'm like, just slide yourself, hit the mud, and if it drives down the hill, ride the roller coaster, right? Just make speed. And I went over to Mitchell, and I'm like, hey, I told him not to hit the hole. It's too dangerous. And Mitchell, you need to run that thing through the hole, and it's going to bounce and bike, but it's the fastest way. And he looked at me. He's like, I'm not ready either. But he did. I think we went quick time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, like and that's how it is. You know, we were talking about Williams Grove yesterday, and I am like, I hate going there because it is so treacherous to qualify. You know, but here I actually hold the track record there because Sean was on me that night, and he was like, "Don't be a girl. Don't be a sissy. You need to get up on the wheel. If we don't qualify good, we're not gonna be up front." You know, and so I go like, run this thing as hard as I can, and we go quick time, and then I was in trouble for qualifying too good, you know, because I put myself sixth, and we would have wanted.
The great USAC format, right? The wonderful USAC format.
Yeah, absolutely.
Penalized for going fast.
Yeah. You run all 3 series, which has got to be difficult because midgets, total different motors, wheels, everything, sprint cars, all of its own stuff. I guess some of the crown stuff and sprint car stuff might go together. I don't actually know that. I don't run crown cars, but like, that's got to be difficult. You got 2 rigs, you got 2 trailers. Like, how do you do it?
Yeah, we got 2. So this year is probably going to be our easiest year because we're just concentrating on USAC, right? So we're all going to the same place, so that helps, right? In the past, it's like, okay, half the guys are going to an extreme race in freaking North Carolina, and then we're going with the crown car to freaking Kansas City or something. I don't know. So we were just everywhere with limited manpower. Yeah. Now this year we're all going the same place, 2 trucks and trailers. We got 3 full-time crew members, and then myself, and then the drivers who help wash and in a pinch. And Mitchell's extremely handy. Like, he can weld, he can do whatever he needs to do if it's something like that happens.
I seen he just picked up a win in a micro.
Yeah,
last weekend?
Yeah, I think he was in Texas, a 600 deal. Yeah, pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
He was like, he murdered everybody on the West Coast before he moved back here. He had like 50 wins or something in his 600. And then he told me because they had so many wins, he got like ridiculous amount of money for it. He got like 80 grand for it. It was like, well, if you have a winning capable car, the only other car, Jerome Rodella did that with his pavement midget. He had that pavement midget that Cody won everything with at IRP, and these midget guys, man, they've hung on to this pavement side, and so we get the pavement track come back, and if you don't have Cody Swanson, well, you're running second. So what did he do? He bought Jerome's car for like 6 figures and the driver, and now he's winning races.
Right. That's what you gotta do. You gotta buy it. Yeah, Mitchell's interesting, man. He was a micro kid, right? Who came out and he was a midget kid. And then he cold called me to drive. And then we were in Ocala, I don't know, like 23 or something. And he was just hanging out. So then he started drinking Land Sharks with me. And then I was dropping off at his hotel. And I'm like, this kid's pretty cool. Stuff was getting sideways with me and Tanner at the wing thing. We sucked, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that always, you get 2 people with egos in a room and you suck. Well, I'm not going to be the guy to blame.
Well, you're the guy paying for it, so you shouldn't be the guy to blame.
He's going to take the fault. And I love Tanner. He's one of
Yeah, we all do.
He's impressive.
He's just very, like, if elbows were up, he'd be like.
We just got sideways and found it best to just go our separate ways, maintain our friendship. And then Mitchell kept calling me, and I was actually up there in the apartment, and I called him, and I'm like, hey, you want to go to Terre Haute? And he's like, yeah, I'll go to Terre Haute. And I said, are you? And he's like, dude, have you? I'm Mitchell Moles. I'm like, I've never even heard your name, dog. Like, I don't know who you are. Like, all right, you're gonna drive the 19 AZ, bro. Or we're going to Terre Haute.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know. So we show up there, and dude, he qualified. He went quick time. All right, I might be lying. He went really fast, right? And I just remember people.
He was almost Mr. Quick Time for a while there. When he first got here, he had a point. He had a point to prove, and he made it qualifying. I mean, it was like, okay, I'd be sitting there, and all of a sudden I'd hear, no lift. Oh, that's got to be
vertical.
That's got to be
butterflies wide open. That's our talent.
Yeah, that's got to be Moles.
Yeah, and then he led like 27 laps for our first race.
That's awesome.
Well, Leary was running second. The mud cover came off. His mud cover came off. they throw a yellow, and this kid's never restarted a sprint car, you know, up front. And he just freaking lets it sail off into the black a little bit, into the slick, spins the tires, and CJ went by and we ran second. I don't know, maybe third, but we'll say second, right? Sounds better. But and then I was like, dude, this kid can drive.
Yeah.
He can drive.
He's not afraid of it. I've known Mitchell forever. All right, so Andy has some of the nicest stuff, and he takes pride in his trailer. He must, because it's immaculate. So we're going to walk you through the trailer.
Where everything's at.
Knowing where everything's
labeled.
at, having your spare parts. Like, I honestly, like, I almost feel like I have a sickness thanks to racing because of this.
Right, the OCD.
Well, you just, you know, with my RC car, I don't need spares, but I feel like I need spares, you know? Yeah.
The good news is they're only $10 instead of $100.
Yeah.
So this one will become the midget HR trailer here soon. We got a T&E coming. Still through Flying A, through Chad, my boy Chad. Every year we just buy a trailer, and then we flip one. Got to have the dyno, but the T&E will have the dyno, and then underneath it has a plug-in 32-ounce, not 32-ounce, a cooler. It's electric cooler. It'll be real nice. Got to have your computer, all your data, all your information.
Beautiful.
Shocks. Everything has a place. Everything has a home. If it's not organized and it's out of place, my brain freaks out, and then I freak out. So they know just to keep everything in place. Keep it nice.
That's the prettiest header manifold box I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, get your inserts in there. Everything you need.
All the goodies.
All the goodies. A couple engine compartments. It doesn't have anything in it currently. There's one. You got one there. One spare right there.
Have you guys had to change motors on the road?
Oh, all the time.
That's common.
That's standard. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, and that's not due to Eric. Stanton, he takes care of us like it's nobody's business. It's not due to him. It's just
racing happens. Like
it's racing
picks up
happens.
A vibration or isn't making the grip you need. Is that ever a thing?
The last time at Eldora that we did it was just a spark plug, legitimately just a spark plug. You know what I mean? So it's usually a part failure, right? It's nothing with him. He does. We send our motors back every 17 nights. It's just my thing. At 18, I always have a problem. So he says we can keep them out there longer, and we went through some valve train issues with Gary back in 5 years ago. 5 years ago when we first started the V8 stuff, because they're a midget motor deal. But I mean, Eric's the guy, Stanton's the guy, Gary's the guy. Everybody's running their stuff now. Wing, non-wing, midgets. Crown motor, we just got a brand new Crown motor.
All of your stuff, your midget motor,
everything
is through.
Everything, yeah. And I'm an engine. Everybody there is. I've been fired. Galen Fox fired me. Told me I was a freaking pain.
Well, you might be OCD by the looks of it.
Yeah, it's definitely an OCD issue. They tell me I'm an extremist. That's what Todd tells me. I'm an extremist. I take everything to a freaking extreme. I said, well, that's probably a good thing, right? And then I have this is the best part right here. Since I'm coming from Arizona all the time, I never know if it's going to be hot or cold or whatever. So snacks and all my freaking jackets and pants in case it gets extremely cold.
We went to Supercross. I ended up going to the bar afterwards. Me and Madeline got out, and I asked Andy, what he was doing this weekend or this week, and he said I could come by. So, hey, thank you so much.
Peace.
Hey, thank you so much for watching Tmeztv. If you would, please go like and subscribe. Racing is coming up soon. We are racing not this weekend, but next weekend, 3 nights in the 7X. So watch out.